Morning everybody. I am going to start with the spacesuit today of this rabbit character. That includes the glass helmet. So I will be just doing the time-lapse video and then stopping and talking about what I've been doing. So try and keep the video if I can to under 10 minutes, because yesterday's was 40 minutes long and it's quite a long video for people to watch, so I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. And I guess if you have any queries about what I'm doing, please ask in the comments below. Thank you. So I've just done the metal bands around the bottom of the helmet and on the arms. They are particularly easy to do, and I don't know if you saw, or you probably saw as much as you can with the stop motion thing, or the time-lapse thing. But basically it's creating the metal look is just bands of colour. So I've got the same sort of colours that are in the background and around the thing, so they're going to be reflected in the metal. And you see there's burnt umbers, there's a little bit of the azo gold, yellow ochre, and crucially white. Now, knowing what metal does, it tends to have a lot of highlights on it if it's aging. So this, for example, I'm going to just put a bit more white in the middle here, just quickly, because that's where the highlight will be, in that area there. So it is just bands of colour and just gradients. So just I'll do a brown and then I'll do the azo gold and then yellow ochre and then white, and you keep just building it up and building it up, and it starts looking quite metallic. The other little trick is there's going to be quite a sharp highlighted line on the top here, because that just kind of catches the light, and it's the same with that edge there. So it's pretty straightforward, up and down. So I'm going vertical in this way and that way with the armbands, and it just creates a metallic look. So back to it. Battery had gone flat on my camera, so missed quite a lot of the torso of the rabbit creature. So I've kind of done these strange diamond patterns and star patterns and candy cane stripes. Well, not candy cane in the red and white idea, but the kind of blue and well, it's Payne's grey and teal of sorts with a glaze of the red gold over it. So I'm really quite happy with it. One thing I don't like at the moment is the top arm here is a little bit lost. So today's mission is to actually put the hands in, and the little bicycle bell, and perhaps start on this area here. I'm really not happy with that area at the moment either. I think there's got to be more stuff happening. I'm not sure what yet, but it'll happen. So I'm just going to work my way up. I'll start with this handle, work my way up, and get things tidied up. So I'll stop periodically and then explain what I'm doing. And I hope you enjoy the video. So I'm just going to go and start on the lower hand. That would be its right hand, I suppose. And I'm going to be putting a quick layer down of white just to start blocking it in. They're going to be white gloves, I think, because they'll stand out a bit more. And I might put some details in there, like stitching and things like that. Remember the cartoon hands, so they don't have to be perfectly accurate. Just go up to the bicycle bell strap handle, wrist strap I suppose you call it. And we're only going to be seeing 2 fingers at this stage, so I might just bring that around like that. I'm just kind of keeping a rough eye on the lines that I'm going to be using, so I'm just putting a little bit of a burnt umber line there, and I'll do that the same here. So the light again is coming from the front, kind of front top, around about here, kind of that sort of area. So this hand is going to be in a little bit of shadow. Now, particularly down here, I'm just going to round that off a bit more. So it makes it look like it's pushing down. And then there's a kind of, this here will be quite a bit lighter, and then the shadow in this. So what I'm going to do is just with a little bit of Payne's Grey and Burnt Umber, I'm just going to start blocking in some of the shadow while it's wet, so I can do a bit more blending. So there's going to be a shadow under here, and it's going to kind of come around in that area there. There's going to be a bit more shadow here because the finger's slightly bent. So I'm just using a bit of imagination, so just thinking, well, that's probably going to be a bit more, a bit darker in that area there, and there's going to be a little bit of shadow falling over here, but it might be a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to add a bit more white to that. And you notice how that's got a bit of blue in it, that's Payne's Grey coming out, which I don't know if the camera picks it up. I'm going to bring it up right up to the knuckles of the hand. The fingers are quite elongated, and that's okay, it's a cartoon. I kind of like that idea, it's just exaggerating the whole thing. For goodness sake, it's a bunny in a spacesuit, it doesn't really make any difference. As long as it looks like a hand, that is the trick. Bit of white in there. That's probably a bit too much white. Looks like a back and forth here, blimey. That's better. And soften that off there a bit more. And now I'm going to start bringing some of the shadow in here down as well. There's going to be a little bit of light catching on the edge of the glove. I'm going to just bring that over here a bit more. I'll just bring that over there and soften that edge a bit more. So I'm going to use the hairdryer to dry it off because I can start putting more layers on. I want to bring that up a little bit more like that. I should bring that in there and bring that up there. That's it. And then at the top of the thumb here will be a bit lighter, so I'm going to just put some white in. Quite a lot of white there. Take some of that off. Put that back. I'm working so fast, I'm rushing this. I appreciate that sometimes the videos can be quite long and people will skip through, and I don't want people to skip through. I want people to sit and watch and hopefully get some ideas of their own as I'm doing this. So I'm going to soften that edge here a bit more. And a little bit of Burnt Umber in here. Oops, lazy. A bit underneath there. And what I'm going to do is just put some Burnt Umber and Azo Gold into the balloon, because there's going to be a bit of a shadow underneath the fingers where it's pushing down. Painting is always thinking about where the light's going to be, where the shadow's going to be. And once you've got that down, you're well away, really. So soften that edge a bit more, and I'm going to put a bit more Burnt Umber in here. And again, I've been calling it Burnt Umber, and you know full well when I say Burnt Umber I mean the Van Dyke Brown. So I'm going to just put a bit of the Van Dyke Brown into the area there. Just now I've got to make a decision whether I want to put some stitching in there or not. Just put that in there more and bring that up. No, I'm going to leave it, I think. I just think I will leave it because it looks glove-like as it is. So I'm just going to soften that up a bit more. He's going to have a bit of shadow on the inside of that glove there. A lot of people will work mixing colours on their palette, and that's the normal way to do it, in fact. But for some reason, I've always liked to mix the colours on the canvas. It's just a quirk, I guess. I'll bring some more of that under into that area there. And any chalk that's left on there from the drawing will just come off with, I use a stiff brush with a bit of water, and that just takes it off. But I don't do that until all the paint is thoroughly dry. Just got to have a bit of patience with that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think that will do a bit more white on top here, just a bit more. So that's the first glove pretty much done. I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to soften that edge again. I might come back a little bit later and do some more, but I don't think that's. I think it's not too bad at all. Actually, it works all right for me. I might just create a little bit of shadow down that edge. And soften it again. And you can soften it with water on your brush, or in this case I'm just using a bit of the glaze medium, which I've talked about before. The glaze medium is basically a paint without the pigment, and it will give you a stronger paint underneath. Whereas water, when you add water to the acrylics, it separates the particles and it makes a weaker paint in physical strength, that is. But by adding the glaze medium, you are adding the same amount of particles, the acrylic particles, but without any pigment, so it stays a lot stronger. It just separates them all so you can actually see through it, which I think it works really well. So that's the first glove done. I will probably come back in when it's dry and do a bit more on that thumb there. But I'm going to stop it now. I'm going to do some time-lapse movie of me doing the bell and the other hand. And I will speak to you again soon. Thanks. So I've been moving quite fast here. Both hands done. Just blocked in the bowl of the top hand here that's being held by the top hand. So I'm going to make that a copper bowl because it's kind of a bit of one of my things that I tend to do in a lot of paintings. It's quite I just like them really as a thing. So I just want to show people how I do that. So as again I've blocked it out. I'm just trying to lift the colours away from here. Although funny enough, it's going to be a very that sort of colour anyway. So what I'm going to first do is just get a wash down of the azo. I'm not too fussed about getting it all in flat at the moment, so I'm just going to get the colour blocked in. Now you can see it's going to be disappearing against the background, but that's okay, it'll sort itself out in a second. Just get that basic colour in there. Now I'm going to be putting in the Van Dyke Brown. And this is the shadow. So again, you're thinking all the time, light, dark, light, dark. Where will the light go? Where will the shadow go? Some people do this using tones of grey and then put colours over that, and that's often done when you're using or painting portraits. So you paint a portrait completely in grey, and then you do tones of or washes of colour over that. I can never quite get my head around that one, so I don't do that. So now, because of the browns there, I'm going to start bringing the edges in, and I'm going to bring that brown up to the, here it's going to go quite a way up. And you notice how I'm keeping my brush strokes quite rough, because I want to actually have a kind of hammered copper feel to it, and you can get that by, well, rough brush strokes. It kind of creates that feathering on the edge there. I'm not going to be doing any smoothing or anything like that on this one. I'm just going to be creating it, making it quite rough. So I'm just going to put more brown on the edge, and I'm going to bring it into the middle. I'm going to just get rid of that white down here because it's going to confuse things. Bring that up here and that into the middle. With copper you can also add the patina of, say, the oxide, so that, you know, that blue, green, teal as well, and I really like that colour on copper, and I might do that here, but having said that, there's quite a lot of the kind of oxide colours in the suit here, so I may not in the end. So you notice now I've just put the white down, white in the middle, plonked it in there, and I'm feathering it out to the edges. And again, keeping the brush strokes quite rough. And I'm going to just use a hairdryer. So now what I want to do is darken the dark base area, and Van Dyke Brown will only go so far. You can see it goes kind of like that, and that's fine. But if I added a little bit of Payne's Grey in there, it darkens a little bit more and you get a really nice effect. So I'm going to just do that because I want the bottom here to be very dark indeed. You can see straight away how it starts lifting everything else out. It's just makes it all pop. So tone is everything here. Again, really rough kind of brush strokes, zigzagging, because I want that kind of copper look, that beaten copper, handmade look. And don't ask me why I do the copper balls a lot. I just do it. Kind of one of the things I really enjoy painting. Bring up that into that area. Now I'm going to just get a bit of Azo Gold and bring that in here. And feather it around the edge. There's a bit of brown in that area there. So I'm moving fast, I know. Just zigzag my brush so I get a nice rough edge. And then I'm going to add a bit more Azo Gold here. And I'm going to get a bit more whites, just a bit more control over this. And I can come back and do a wash. You notice how I've washed over that white, and it's actually come really, I like that textured look. But I'm going to do that twice because I just want those layers to create more oomph. So I'm just adding white now. Again, zigzagging. I don't want this perfect. And I can bring it right over here. And right over here. And that Azo Gold underneath is still wet. So it's going to blend. As you can see, it's blending. That's what I want. And I'm going to come back over again and do a little bit more of the brown on the edge here, and also a bit more Azo, so a bit more brown. And again, a little bit of Payne's Grey in there, just to keep it quite dark. Crisscross, crisscross, and wiggling it around, just let the bristles do the work. Yeah, okay, so what's happening is a little bit of, I'm going to just dry the head right. As you can see, I'm kind of, it's not what I want to happen, but I'm kind of avoiding the fingers and it's kind of creating a bit of a halo around them, so I'm going to get rid of that in a second. So a little bit of Azo Gold. Put that right over there and into the lacer patch area. Again right over here. And then just a smidgen in this area, the light will come through, but it looks kind of a bit more natural than just pure white. And I'm going to use my finger. Just be a bit aware of the paints you're using. These golden acrylics are not the safest things in the world. They do say that not that they've ever had any evidence that they're carcinogenic, but they say that there are elements in them that could be. So just don't put your brushes in your mouth. If you use your fingers, I don't wash the fingers really immediately, which I'll go and do in a second. I just want to put more light in here quickly whilst I'm doing it. And then so again, letting the brush do the work because it's giving me that wonderful texture. And another thing I want to try and do here is just a little bit of white with Azo Gold along the edge here, because the edges of metal tend to pick up the highlights a bit more than anything else. And when that's dry, I'll run some Azo Gold over there. Yep, okay, so that's alright then. Quite happy with that. And again, I'm just letting the brush do the work, just picking out a few of the highlights. Finger on there to soften the things. And that's that bowl done. Happy with that, and that'll be the end of today's lesson. So I'll see you again tomorrow.